Welcome to Start Before You're Ready, the podcast that proves that you don't need to wait for the perfect moment to begin your journey towards better health and happiness. I'm your host, Kelly Young. Remember, the first step is often the hardest, but it's always worth taking. Hey guys, it's Kelly, and I am back with another episode of Start Before You're Ready. I am so excited to share my guest today. Heather Whisenant is a new member, and I've been saying I really want to have somebody that's new or newish to our community on and have them share what it's like to come in as a new person. And I wouldn't call her like an average new person because Heather has been an extraordinary student since day one. I like to ask my students to set goals and share them. And she did that not only in class, but she kind of went above and beyond and sent me some emails and really had some specific things that she was working on that were important to her. And she wanted to be accountable to them. So she sent an email kind of stating what she wanted to be accountable to. And there's a lot of value to that. We're going to talk about that today, but there's a lot of value to that. And I can really predict how successful someone's going to be long-term based on how serious they take some of these little challenges that we offer. And I also want to say, they don't have to do it in the beginning. Like Heather's a little bit of an anomaly in that she adapted so many of the things that we like to do. She jumped right in. But I feel like a lot of times people will kind of be like, nah, I don't want to do that. And then like 2 years later, they're like, oh, I want to try that. So I want to let Heather introduce herself, but I want to say one more thing. So when I asked Heather to do the podcast, I was like, I'd really love for you to be on the podcast. You've been such a great example of growth and you've just had amazing results in such a short amount of time. And I can tell that this is really meaningful to you and that you really enjoy being part of the community. And she's like, well, let me wait till I get to 100 visits. And I was like, no, we don't need to wait till you get to 100 visits. It's one of the things like I'd like to tell people, don't wait till you get to whatever to celebrate. There's so much to celebrate. But it just so happens timing worked in her favor. And this week, she hit her 100th visit, which is a pretty good pace since May. You can do the math and figure that all out. But I just love how goal-minded she is. And I love the fact that I can tell when she comes into the studio that it has become her happy place. That's just really important. And I love the results that she's gotten. So we're going to talk about all those things. But before we do, Heather, please introduce yourself to the Start Before You're Ready community.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Heather Whisenant. I am originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I call myself a Memphis native, but a Chicago transplant. I went to school in Chicago, stayed there for a few years after, and then I've been in the DC area since 2011. We moved out here to South Riding about a year and a half ago when I changed jobs. And then I like to call myself a Jane of all trades. I've been in education since I was a senior in high school. So I was in education before I formally left it. And I've been in that world for about 20 years. I'm now a fundraiser for a private school in this area and live out here with my husband, Josh, who's from Atlanta. And then we have a super dramatic, we call her the furry teenager, our dog, Lainey. So we, do fundraising and then also like to make art, sing, write, work and volunteer wherever I can. I'm always on the go
I love that. Yeah, you're a busy girl. That's great. So what was you have a little bit of history with fitness, it sounds like everybody does. Sometimes it's a good story, sometimes it's a bad story. Give us your history. Kind of take us back.
Yeah. I always loved being outside. I never really saw myself though as like athletic. I had done like one little bit of sports, but I did like know that I wasn't necessarily eating as healthy when I was a kid. So I don't recommend this for kids at all, but it was a long time ago. I did like a little calorie counting diet when I was 10 and I lost a little bit of weight and then went through some things in high school and ended up getting to about 250 pounds. Realized right before my senior year of high school, that was not how I wanted to go into my senior year. Dropped about 40 or 50 pounds by the start of my senior year, and then eventually came down to like the range that I've been in ever since. So pretty much since college, like with a little bit of ebbs and flows. And I kept trying, I think, to find what I liked. Like I knew I liked Zumba and dancing, where you sort of forget that you're doing hard things. In 2014, 2013, I had 2 bulging discs and I couldn't walk for like 5 days. So it was a long process of like 2 years of what's actually wrong, what's going to help, physical therapy, different doctors, all these things. And that was where I found indoor climbing, which I really loved. And I did for a couple years. Cut to the last like 3 or 4. I was in a crazy 24/7 job and it just went on the back burner. I wanted to be active. I wanted to like be out and about, but my focus was job and trying to just like juggle that and life. So I knew this year, I love the show American Ninja Warrior. So I was like, every year I would watch it and be like, why aren't you doing anything? So 2025, I had like a very specific list of like, there are 5 things because it was 2025. There's a numbers theme with me. I'm sure we'll get to it. But
that's great.
Yeah, I just thought I need to start doing things. Like the nutrition isn't necessarily a huge problem, but in order to help with like mental health, managing just life in general, and fully tackling the whole package of like nutrition and all that, because I did want to get back to climbing, but I knew that there was a better way to holistically build everything up so that was like easier in a way, or just more supported.
Yeah. So you had 5 things that you wanted to do in 2025, and one of them was to become more physically fit, or okay. Yeah. And you were out for a walk with your husband, Josh, right? Is that how you found us?
This was actually a solo excursion.
Okay.
We moved here last summer, and just with adjusting to different jobs and stuff, I was still kind of exploring the neighborhood. So I went on a big walk to our town center here or town hall, I don't know what we call it. Yeah. Okay. In South Riding, and I was dropping something off, and then I heard like, it was like one of those little movie moments where you like hear music, and I was like, wait, what's that?
You heard it from town hall? Ooh.
I think I was like walking around in the shopping center and sort of being like, wait a minute, that sounds like fun.
I love it.
So then submitted a form and was like, okay, let's try it. If with anything this year, I was like, I'm going to try 5 and I'm going to see how it goes. The rest is history, I guess.
That's good. So you acted pretty quick. Mm-hmm. So you saw it, you acted, because I remember getting your form, and it's just funny. Like you can always tell like people that do homework before you were like, you knew what was going on. You were kind of directing me. You're like, here's what I want. And then I was like, great, let's go. And then we met. I remember you were coming from, I think it was it was May. So maybe you were coming from school, and we met. And I could just tell like you were fun, because you were like, at that time we had on the schedule, we had a class that was like theme night, which is kind of silly. Like, and you're like, I'm especially excited for the theme night. I'm like, oh, I better up my theme night. This girl's joining for theme night. I'm like, I better up my theme night. But yeah, so tell us, Heather, just as a new student, because one of the things that I worry about as a business owner, especially as a business that's been established in the community for so long, with so many members that have been with us for so long, is I hate the idea of somebody coming in and feeling like it's a clique, or like everybody knows each other. And it's hard because everyone does kind of get to know each other. But how did you feel coming in?
I started with the Complete Fit. And I think the first class, it was just like kind of getting used to it. I saw people who are like absolute beasts. They're incredible. But they've worked at it, and you can see that. But pretty much early on, everybody was introducing themselves. Nobody was like, it wasn't that anybody's in their own world or zone or anything like that. It's truly a group effort. And it was very encouraging. Like when we like set our goals out for the first time, like Mo and Liz, and they're all in there, and like everybody's clapping. Debbie W walked over to me in the middle of one class. Like all of a sudden we're like crossing the room, and she goes, "Hi, you're new here." And I was yes. Yes, in fact, I am.
Welcome,
Hi.
pretty.
And it was very sweet. I think the things that like kind of intimidated me once I got through them a couple of times, I was like, I'm always nervous on partner stuff. So I was like, I don't want to let anybody down. But it was just really fun, warm. And like, I knew probably like 2 weeks in after I had done 5 or 6, I had come home. It was a Friday afternoon and I could have like just done nothing. But that was when we had 5:15 like Circuit Express. And instantly I realized there was like time to go change and go over there. And it was like, pew, out the door.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's when I was like, I think I like this.
You noticed yourself like not feeling right if you weren't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, big time.
And when you first started, how many times a week did you come, Heather?
I think I came because I became a member at the end of May. So I think it was probably in those first couple weeks, 2 or 3. Like I was sort of wanting to get like a sampling. I got to 10 pretty quickly. That was June. And then like you said, I'm very goal oriented. So I was just sort of like, okay, next one's 100. Cool. Let's go. And started kind of trying to pick it up. We have a shortened schedule where I work in the summer, which made that really easy. And we could be off on Fridays because I'm a 12-month employee. And so that was easier in like getting to come to some of the later morning classes, getting to do Fight Club on Friday. I start like all the samplers and everything. I was just like, okay, cool. And Jess joked to me the other day. She's like, "Oh, you and your doubles," and I'm like, "You got to fit it." Like, and I had a goal
Because also I feel like you want to do both workouts. You can't decide which workout, so you're like, I'll do both.
Yeah, indecision is real. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so one of the things that I do appreciate about you, Heather, is that you have been very diverse in your training. Like you seem to go to strength and Fight Club and just different bar and Pilates and different classes. And that's something that I'm really proud that we can offer people. I think that of course, we've got a lot of people that just want to do strength or just want to do cardio or just want to do cardio and strength. And it's nice to see. Are those things that you had done before, or was that all new to you?
I had never done a purely just strength class.
Okay.
I think that's the one where I was like, what is this going to be? I had done sort of like a boot camp circuit thing years ago when I lived in Chicago for a little bit.
Okay.
But very different style, much more like less high energy and more just intense.
Okay.
And I had seen like some of what my husband would do when he was back working out at a gym in Alexandria that was CrossFit. And I was sort of like, oh my God. So I think variety helps. And also like the nice part is if you're like, I don't feel like strength today. I just feel like going to, like in the summer, it was like, I want to go to Yoga Express, or I want to go to Step, or I need to dance it out and I'm going to go to Fuego Weekend.
Yes.
And that's going to start my weekend.
You really do it all, girl.
I think I've done all of them except right now on the schedule, except the Friday morning because I tried and I got lost.
Oh, Run Club. I know. Do you know where it is now? Do you know where Dulles Landing is? Okay.
Yeah. No, I've been to boot camp. I just that was one of those mornings where I don't know what happened. Okay.
Well, I think it was an error on our part. I think we'll take the blame for that. So I want to talk about getting stronger because people get really excited about fitting in their clothes. I know you've lost 10 pounds and we got you on the InBody. We're going to get you back on. Those are all really important things. And the weight was something that was part of your goal. You weren't like fixated on it. You weren't like, okay, I'm here to lose weight. Like some people do. Some people come and they're like, I need to lose weight. Like, and that's sometimes setting themselves up for failure because they'll feel like they'll come and they'll lose the weight and then they're not going to have to do it anymore. And that's obviously not true. But you were like, no, I'm looking more for something that is going to help me holistically, mental health, physical health. And I think that was one of the reasons why you had set a goal your first month. I think it was, I want to say 10 different formats or
It was June, so I said I want to go to 6 classes I haven't tried before.
Six, that's what it is. Six
Yeah.
classes you haven't tried. See, I just got so excited about you and setting goals like that and just having the initiative to take yourself outside of your comfort zone and do that. Well, and I think that there's a lot to be said for goal setting, accountability, and making it so you enjoy it. And I really like what you said, Heather, about like I mean, you're no different than anybody else, by the way. Like some days you're just like, ugh, I'm not feeling it. Like and then to be able to do something, right, is great. I mean, whether it even be with us or whether it just be like, okay, today I'm just going to go for a walk. Like that's enough for today. And that's great. That's great to have that mindset. And we do say like plan your workouts and schedule them and be disciplined and come even when you don't want to. But having a plan B is really, really great. I would love to talk to you about getting stronger. So tell me how it feels to feel stronger and how it shows up in your life.
One, it's like I have noticed things get a lot better. Some moves that you were just like, the first time I saw it, I was like, no. Now it's like when I started to be able to like hold a plank for a minute, or mountain climbers at my first boot camp, I was like, wow, I did it. That's been really great. And just as someone who has had back issues, and sometimes like picking up something can be scary when you've gone through that.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, whatever. It's fine. I sent you a picture one day. I was pulling this massive cart full of like full gallons of water bottles. And I was like, when you've been to strength 3 times this week, so you can tackle this or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
2 weeks ago, like it's fun to level up because multiple times now I've like called my husband on the way home and I'm like, so I did a deadlift with 40 pounds.
Aww.
Did a deadlift with 50. The other night I did a farmer's carry in Colleen's class and I had like 35-pound weights.
Girl.
And I wasn't
70, so you had 35 on each side?
Yeah.
Girl, that's great.
So and it was just this funny, like I picked them up and then like did a little dance and was like, okay, here we go. It's good.
Yeah.
It just
yeah.
One of the first classes, just when I already was like, I'm doing something a little better, I left and it felt like internally, it was like my body was telling me, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what I need you to do. And that can be like, I go to mat Pilates with Jess and I know there's a lot that still needs to get worked on there, but like you said, celebrate the wins. If I couldn't do it the previous week, but I can do it a little differently or a little better. Also, I think what I loved from the jump is that things can get modified because everybody's different.
Yes.
Like if you can't do jumping jacks like everybody else, or if you, in step, I only use one platform rather than 2, or if it's, you don't like a particular move. One night I got to try like a dead hang and it was off the bars. And when I flew down and realized I could do it, and then the minute timer went off, I was like, man, I was like, that was fun. Let's do that again.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, do something. Yeah. I love that. Well, we talked in a little bit about you being a very successful student in your journey, and we've mentioned a couple of things. One is being goal oriented, having specific things that you're trying to achieve. I always say, if what you want, you're going to get it. If you don't know what you want, we don't know if you're going to get it. So being very specific, and it's not like, and I kind of appreciate that your goal wasn't like, I want to lose 5 pounds. Like your goals were a little bit different. And I don't want to be sensitive to what you experienced as a child, but it's important that we don't go back there, right? That was probably, you probably had to you kind of brushed through it, but you probably had to overcome a lot of things to get to where you are now, to have the healthy attitude that you have right now, and just the positive attitude. So I think that I really appreciate the way you've been setting your goals. I also appreciate celebrating your wins. I shared this on this podcast before, but one of my very favorite things is the moment we stop celebrating our wins is the moment we stop having them. And I believe that to be true for all aspects of your life. It's really important to take a minute and say, hey, I just carried 70 pounds across the gym. Hey, I just did a dead hang that I didn't think I could do. And I didn't even want to stop because it felt so good. Like those are, you're not, I mean, you're not bragging, but you're not bragging. Like you're excited about success and you're seeing yourself get better. And I really try to encourage our members to do that. And some people are better at it than others. Like I'll have, like when I used to do my small group, I used to make them talk for a minute. I'm like, just tell me everything great about you. And they'd be like, this is Kelly, this is my worst nightmare. And I'm like, good, do it. Just start talking. I don't care what you say. You have a minute and you have to talk good stuff about you because you should be able to do that. And I think that it's a really important part of getting better. Just acknowledging when you do something well. The other thing that I think you are exceptional about, Heather, and in your response to being on the podcast, you shared some things, and I'd like you to share them here if you could, but you are very grateful. You are always saying thank you for the littlest things. Like you sent me a text last night. You're like, I finally beat my husband in steps. Thank you for whatever we did in class that day. And you're not just to me, to all the instructors. Like you have given me great feedback on so many of our teammates, and you just appreciate them for who they are. I can be about a hot mess. You appreciate me for who I am. And I just want to talk like a little bit about that, Heather, just like the way that you show gratitude.
I think I told you, now that I've been doing it several times, I like hear each of not in a weird way, but like I hear each of the instructors in my head that like there's some sort of takeaway, whether it's like Jess saying with control and I'll just think about that in some other setting, or I think all of them have been so welcoming. And in my line of work, gratitude and stewardship are huge. They're probably like 80% of what I need to be doing is like maintaining. And so I was at a new class. I would get like an email from the instructor and it would be just really sweet. And like, it could be a couple times it was a class where I didn't feel that like I did that well. And there'd be a note of, that was really hard class. Thanks for like powering through it with me. And that's really nice. And I think they acknowledge every single person. They're watching. And I think that really helps with relationships. And I've seen it with people who have come in and been newer than me. Like everybody is approachable. Like the first time, or one of the initial times when I did Yin, it was just like, and talking to Meg and getting to know everybody. We all went to coffee when we went to Step, like several of us, and it was on Juneteenth, and then we all ended up at Starbucks because that's what happens. But gratitude is huge. I think people on either side want to be valued. It's hard, especially like anybody in the education world or service of any kind knows the term thankless job. Where like you're seen when there's a problem, or you're approached when there's a problem, or you're valued when something is fixed. So I think I'm grateful for all of the instructors. I like miss it when I don't go, or if I come later and I see the class before, I'm just like, man. I think the notes, I have them all saved in I'm one of those like Gmail labels people, and it's 2025 getting fit. And none of them get deleted. They all go over there.
So you value feedback, which is great. So there's a book on my bedside right now about feedback, and it's really interesting. And one of the things it says within the first 2 pages is people that value feedback the most are typically the most successful, because it's how you get better, right? And as a teacher, and you maybe not so much what you're doing now, but a lot of the roles that you've played, you've seen what it's like to be a part of someone's development, and you just want to make them better. I mean, I know I speak for every single person on our team in that our mission is only to make people better, right? We never want to make them feel bad. We never want to, but sometimes you got to give a little tough love, and you got to be like, that's not right. You got to do it this way. Or I try not to be negative, but sometimes, and you can really tell when someone absorbs it and takes it. And those are I use the word coachable. That's just the word I've always used. And I just feel like coachable students are, the world is their oyster, right? There's nothing they can't do, because they're always of the mindset of like, maybe I could do this a little bit better. I mean, I've been doing fitness for a long time, and there's things that I want to be able to do better, right? I'm not where I want to be, and there's always room for growth, and there's always room for improvement. So I think that's going to really, really serve you. What would you say the most valuable lesson that you've learned since you've been a part of the community that's impacted your health?
Just show up. Forgive yourself if you don't feel like 100% like doing it or giving it 110% or 70%. Just allow yourself to go take the time, which no matter what you have going on in your life, kids, no kids, commute, no commute, whatever, you still have to carve it out. You still have to make the active choice. And it can be a vulnerable moment, which can be like if you haven't been to a class before, or you're nervous about trying something, or you're just not feeling it. Tuesday night when it had been a really rough day, and it ended up being like us on the rowers and me and Lori Davis Molnar, another one of our awesome teachers and people. We were like going back and forth, and like I'm on like minute 4, I think. And I'm like, oh my God, I did Pilates before this. And she starts laughing, and she's like, you did Pilates before this? And I said, yes, I need to filter out this day. And I think if you show up and it's said at class a lot, like if you show up, you've done the hardest part.
Yep.
You got in your car.
Heaviest weight is the door.
Yeah. You change your clothes. You got in your car. If you need to dash in, then you need to dash in. But
yeah,
it's the second the music starts, or even as I'm leaving and the second the music for the next class starts, it's instantly like this really nice thing that makes it all worth it.
I love that. That's a really good answer. And we talked about this a little bit, but about a success story or a milestone since you started. Do you think that 100 classes, that was your biggest milestone, or do you think it's something else?
The 100 classes was really cool. I mean, that was just really cool. It was like a little.
We haven't even given you your prize yet. You were like, I was like, oh my gosh, I need more. So I'm sorry. She's really fast. She does them really fast.
No. I think 100 classes was great. Also, like you said, when you see changes in like your clothes fitting and all that, I think in any previous weight loss experience I'd had, it didn't really have the like data and metrics that I've now experienced from InBody. So like seeing body fat percentage go down felt like really good. So seeing all that and like seeing that in a whole picture sense, things are getting better, I think was really great. And also like truly doing mountain climbers for like a minute, I was like, okay, cool.
Those are my favorite, Heather. I'm really glad you shared that, because honestly, like I told you guys this the other night. We used to do a lot of physical I didn't care how many whatever they could do in a minute. I just wanted people to see themselves getting better beyond the scale or beyond other metrics. And like the examples, like mountain climbers holding a plank for a minute, vertical row, getting your leg over the bar, being able to, those are exactly like, if people can just acknowledge them themselves, then I don't have to do assessments. But sometimes people aren't as astute to their achievements. And I try to notice when someone, I remember they couldn't do a knee up, or I remember they couldn't do a particular move, but it does feel good to kind of have something tangible that you can be like, I remember when I could do one toe push-up. Used to be before anybody joined my boot camp, I wouldn't let them join. This is when I was just Saturday. I wouldn't let them join unless they met one-on-one with me. And I would take them down to my basement. I had my 4 kids, and I would do push-ups, sit-ups, squats, lunges. And sometimes it was like 0 for all of them. I'm like, great, this is perfect. We're going to have a really easy time improving these numbers, right? So that's something that we love to do. Has there been any challenges along the way? Can you describe any of the challenging moments?
Yeah, back in July it was my own doing, and it was all of a sudden just things in my lower back kind of seized up. And it was probably one of the like closest things to the injury several years ago that I had felt like. And I just thought, oh no, I can't go backwards. And it was scary because it's like I got home, I'm trying to like, and I'm just always moving. So when it hurt to like stand, sit, whatever, that was instantly like, no, this is my joy. I need to be able to go and work out and move around and all that. And I think, like, again, grateful. You had recommended a couple of different places to me that, like, throughout those next couple of weeks, I was able to, like, go to Fortify and get, like, who's an awesome chiropractor if you're in this area, and, like, get massage and start to, like, figure it out and ease back in. So it, like, physically, that was probably the hardest bit, is just now I've gotten through a couple things where I'm like, okay, I know what to stretch. I know what to do. If something's going on, okay, then obviously I need to, like, tweak and everything. So that was the physical bit. I think also whenever you're going through something mentally, like, it's, if you get through class or it, like, comes up or whatever, I think I shared, I had heard that a teacher that I loved, who was, like, instrumental in my whole, like, educational life, she's why I'm a writer. I heard she passed away, and, like, that was just carried with me that week. And but then, like, went to Yin, was like was sad. Luckily it's
Yin is hard if you're I had that experience last night. If you have something, if you're carrying something and you go to Yin, no bueno. It's not good, actually. I mean, because you have time to process. I know you're supposed to. Is that what you're saying? Or I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No. I like, that was what I came in, and I was like, I had gone to circuit, and I was like, okay, I got the, like, the workout part. But then Meg and Gloria both say at the start of Yin, the hardest bit is calming your mind down. So, like, just sort of felt it the whole time, which is normal. But, like, it's also a great release. Like, by the end of it, I was just like, okay, had it, I'm good. It's to, like, honestly lay there or be in whatever position, and it's great. I love, sometimes for me, just as someone who does have ADHD, sometimes I will look and there's the lights along the ceiling, and that honestly helps me focus, maybe more so than actually, like, closing my eyes. So by the end of it, I was just like, okay, here we are.
Well, I need some more tips from you. That's a good one. It's funny the things that help. Do you ever find putting a hood on helps?
When I get cold.
Okay.
I think,
Yeah. I've just talked to teachers about that before, because there's something therapeutic about it. I understand it. I never did, but until I did it, and I was like, oh,
like, a security
I do it during
blanket.
Yin.
Yeah.
To kind of, like, encapsulate, to kind of like, I don't know. And it's just, there's something about it. Okay. You didn't say this one, but I want you to talk about your arms.
Oh, I have always been self-conscious about my arms, and now they're, like, got some tone to them and everything.
Girl.
And that's been, and now I just want to wear, like, tank tops and dresses all the time. And it's like a visual thing. Like, now that I see it, just, like, walking around. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Everybody has that first thing that they see in a picture of themselves. And I would always be like, why did you stand to the side? It's your arms. So they're able to lift some stuff, and okay, they look pretty good. Cool.
Well, that makes me so happy. And it's so great to go from, I don't like my arms, to I want to highlight my arms. And I just, that makes me happy. We say it's not about aesthetics and who cares, but it matters. It matters. You feel good. You feel good. I mean, that's okay, as long as it's a positive thing. I love that. And I actually want you to share your healthy go-to food tip, because I actually almost shared this today.
To me, honestly, like, if you have pre-cooked seasoned vegetables in your freezer, you can make pretty much anything. Like, I've paired them with eggs. It'll go with rice. It's an instant side. Like, if there's leftovers, it builds that out. And I know Costco sometimes has the big sizes of them. There's, like, mixed, just all sorts of different types. Sprouts has smaller bags depending on what you need.
Okay.
But
which store has the smaller bags?
Sprouts.
Okay, Sprouts. Okay.
Yeah, over in the closest, I think, is Herndon. But the other night, quite literally, there was, like, 6 or 7 options, and it was like, boop, 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 in the cart, done.
At Sprout, they had 6 or 7 options.
Yeah.
Costco now has, like, 4, which they never had. I've been buying that forever. That's, like, my absolute favorite. My kids use it. My kids will just, like, Dalton will cook that up and put ground beef in it or whatever. And the vegetables are delicious. And one of the reasons why I was so glad you mentioned that is, do you know the price at Costco? I feel like it's like $8.99. I mean, I don't want to say because I'm not sure, but I remember looking at it and thinking the volume of vegetables that you get and the quality, they're delicious. And now there's different, because I've heard people say like, oh, I don't like Brussels sprouts, or I don't, because the one had like Brussels sprouts, the sweet potato. I'm like, honestly, like, give your husband the Brussels sprouts, or like just still buy it because it's still worth it. And now that they have some different ones, but it's just so nice because you can cook as much as you want, right? You can do a single serving, you can do it for multiple people, and it's the value, especially now, of course, during the season, whenever we can get local vegetables. I know that that's something it's important to you too, but especially now that we're getting into winter and nothing's going to be local anyway. It's great to have that in the freezer. That's perfect. That's a really good answer. So thank you for saying that.
No problem.
I'll do a video and show you guys if you haven't. But the best, do you cook it on a pan?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the best way to cook it.
It's easy because like you can also, like you said, if it's just me, like I've come home from workout or something, it's just like just enough. And then it also can last that much longer.
Yeah.
Which is pretty great.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So we talked about your goal setting. And you're down 1%. No, this month your goal is to get down 1% body fat.
I'm going to try. Overall, I'm down 4% from the first InBody I did in April.
You're down 4% from your first InBody. Yeah. So you're going to be down 5 after October?
We'll see.
Okay.
Maybe November.
Are you dialed into your protein, Heather?
I think I'm doing my best.
Okay. We need to talk, guys. I feel like last time we had a little hard talk about this. If you want another % change, you got to dial in, because what happens is in the beginning, you get great results because you weren't working out. You weren't that dialed into your nutrition. The workouts worked, everything was working. And now it's like even a little bit harder because you've already, so I'm not saying you're not going to, but trust me on the protein. Just trust me on the protein. I know you're crushing the workout. So I'm not worried about that at all. So Heather, if you could give one tip to someone just to be a healthier version of themselves, what would that be?
Start small and make it fun.
Oh, gosh. Boom. Mic drop. Start small and make it fun. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't make it like impossible. That's such a good tip. Okay. What is anything you want my advice on? Is there anything that you're like, oh, I always wonder what Kelly thought about that, or how I feel about protein and variety and fun?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we'll have to talk at some point about like balancing that out. And also, I haven't done any of the like nutrition programs, so in hearing about that, I'm excited to do those. Like you said, especially over the winter, where it's like, oh my god, just give me something to do. It's so
you learn so much. It's like a crash course, not crash is the wrong word. Very, very comprehensive, powerful course in nutrition.
I think one is like probably the schedule wise and logistics hardest bit was like when school started and the schedule changed. So like, how have you seen people be successful and like shifting when schedules shift and their schedule shift in maintaining that? Because it's like when you get into a routine of like a couple of months of something, then when that changes, like I'm one of those people that it throws. So like, how have you seen people work around that, work through it?
Yeah. So your schedule changed, or our schedule changed?
Yeah. Both the same, like pretty much the same week.
Okay.
School.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like where you just have to, obviously you have to adapt, and it's just having that plan, even if it's a little fluid. Like I see with you, sometimes it's a little fluid, like maybe what you feel like or what, but just having that non-negotiable, like for my women, for everybody, I say, I want you to have 2 classes a week that have strength in it. So in your case, that could be complete fit. That could be strength. That could be even, I would count a Pilates class because you're strength training. It might not be the load but you're getting stronger. So that's really important to me, is to have 2 classes. I mean, ideally 2 really true 2 classes that are really strength. Just having the mindset that like, this is my plan and I'm sticking to it, even though it might have to shift a little bit. I think that is, we talked kind of giving all the clues for the most successful students, but our most successful students create a routine. And there might be some fluidity to it. It's like, but these are the days I'm going non-negotiable. Like, there's people on Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. that if they're not there, I'm like, what's wrong with Kristen? Like, there's something, like, this is her class, right? Like, I'm expecting them. That's part of their routine. Now, do I always expect her at step? No, so it's just like, it's just having those classes where you kind of create that accountability, whether, whatever the schedule would be. That's a great question. All right. And if you could leave us with one thing, what would it be?
I saw this the other day and it's been really sticking in my head. And I think it also helps when you're like trying to decide if you're going to do something or if you're going to try something new, which is choose curiosity over criticism.
I love that.
Just try. And
yeah,
like I said, in doing I do a lot of art. We'll just try something and go for it. And whether or not it works out, it's very easy to go the criticism route and say, even from the jump, I won't be able to do that. Or I'm scared to do that. Or it won't be fun or whatever. I think. Yeah. Just be curious and also just try. That's been my whole thing for myself this year, which is just allow was the word going into the year. And I think that can go a long way.
I think that's your version of start before you're ready, Heather.
Trying. That sounds like a good plan.
You're doing a really great job of it. And I just want to say thank you to you because our members bring us energy. And I've got members that I've been training for 20 years and I love them like I love my family. But it is really nice to get new people into the studio that bring a different energy, that are curious. You asked some questions along the way. I was like, well, that's a really good question. You keep us on our toes. It's just been really nice. And I am genuinely so grateful for you, Heather. I'm so glad that you heard the music and that you came over and that thank God I didn't miss your form. You never know with me. So I'm so glad that we connected and that you're part of the community. I know I speak for the entire KBC team and the community when I say that you are a beautiful addition and we absolutely love having you as someone that we get to work out with, someone to get to learn from. And I do want you to share on the community page about, I knew you were talking about one of your friends and the venture that they have and maybe us doing a clothing drive for men. Yeah. I love that idea. Anytime someone comes into the community, I want them to know that we are a community and things like that. Those are the kind of things that we want to, those are great.
I'll do a quick plug because I'm really proud of her. It's actually a student who started a nonprofit organization over in Reston. And I volunteered there for the first time just over this past week. She's a student at my school. And the amount that they are working to do as two teenagers who started it is absolutely incredible to me. I grew up in a family that had a small business, but also I've always been with and volunteered for small nonprofits, and especially to see teenagers, high school students who said, this is a need and we want to fill it. So yes, I will be enlisting Dude Camp very soon. And just anybody who wants to find out more, just feel free to reach out to me. And if you're in South Riding, come up and say hi and please pet my dog.
I love that. Heather, this was so fun talking to you. Thank you so much. And good luck tomorrow. I know, it'll be after tomorrow, but you have a big day tomorrow for your school. So good luck with that.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Start Before You're Ready. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend who might need a little motivation. Ready to start your own journey? Check out our workouts and nutrition coaching programs at kellysbootcamp.net. You can choose from in-person sessions or virtual programs. Set up a complimentary coaching session to get started. Follow along with me and the show on social media at Kellys_bootcamp. Until next time, this is Kelly Young reminding you that the best time to start is always now.